I love the journalism school at the University of South Carolina. It trained me to be here in New York City at the national level, taught me everything that I need to know.
Behind the camera, Ainsley Earhardt is more than just a Fox News host with fame and beauty. She's a woman of strength, resilience, and perseverance. Every day she steps onto the screen with confidence, but her journey has been far from easy. From personal heartbreaks to the challenges of building a family, Ainsley's story is one of triumph through adversity. In this video, we take a closer look at the untold moments of her life, revealing the trials she's faced and the unwavering strength that keeps her moving forward. Stay tuned to witness the inspiring side of Ainsley Earhardt. The journey of Ainsley Earhardt. Triumphs, tragedy, and the pursuit of love and family. Ainsley Earhardt is a name that resonates with many, thanks to her prominent role as a co-host on Fox and Friends and her steady presence in the American media landscape. With a career that has been marked by extraordinary success, public recognition, and a polished persona, Ainsley has become a household name. Yet, behind the camera's glow and the bright lights of Fox News lies a story that is not as perfect as it may appear. From heartbreaks to personal struggles, Ainsley's journey is one of resilience, growth, and a quest for balance in her professional and personal life. Early life. Shaping the woman. Behind the screen. Born and raised in Spartanburg, South Carolina, Ainsley's early life was one marked by change and adaptation. Her family moved several times throughout her childhood, ultimately settling near Columbia, South Carolina, where she attended Spring Valley High School. It was during these formative years that Ainsley learned the art of adaptation. She was no stranger to new environments and challenges, skills that would later prove to be invaluable in her career. Her ability to adjust to new situations was reflected in her academic pursuits as well. After graduating high school, Ainsley first attended Florida State University before transferring to the University of South Carolina. There, she earned her Bachelor of Arts in Journalism. It was during this time that Ainsley began to carve out her path in the world of journalism, a profession that would become her passion and her calling. The early days of her career. From local news to national prominence. Before she became a household name, Ainsley Earhardt was a reporter at heart, eager to get started in the field. While still at the University of South Carolina, Ainsley landed her first job at WLTX, the local CBS affiliate in Columbia. This marked the beginning of her career in television news, and she quickly demonstrated her skills as both an anchor and a reporter. She was dedicated to connecting with her community, covering stories that resonated with local audiences, and established her as a reliable news personality. In the aftermath of the September 11th attacks in 2001, Ainsley's reporting took on a deeper sense of purpose. She traveled to New York City to cover the story of South Carolina students who raised nearly $500,000 for firefighters in the city, showcasing her ability to capture emotionally resonant stories. It was during this time that Ainsley earned the respect of her peers and the admiration of her community. After working at WLTX for several years, Ainsley took a leap of faith in 2005, relocating to San Antonio, Texas, where she became the morning and noon anchor at Ken's TV. This was a period of rapid growth and personal development for Ainsley, both professionally and personally. Her fearless attitude and thirst for adventure led her to take part in a variety of extreme activities, including running a half marathon in Austin, skydiving with the U.S. Army's Golden Knights, and flying in an F-16 with the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. These thrilling experiences showcased not only her zest for life, but also her unwavering desire to challenge herself and push boundaries, both on and off the air. The Big Leap. Moving to New York and joining Fox News, Ainsley's adventurous spirit and unyielding ambition caught the attention of Fox News executives, and in 2007, she made the move to New York City. At Fox, Ainsley found herself thrust into a completely new world, one that was far removed from the local reporting she had grown accustomed to. She admitted that, at the time, she knew little about politics. But Fox News founder Roger Ailes saw something special in her, a natural warmth and relatability that resonated with viewers. Ainsley quickly became a go-to personality at the network, taking on a variety of roles that showcased her versatility. She hosted her own segment, Ainsley Across America, and appeared regularly on Hannity, Fox and Friends Weekend, and America's News Headquarters. Her approachable demeanor and ability to connect with people made her a beloved figure, and by 2016, Ainsley had firmly established herself as a co-host on Fox and Friends, one of the most watched shows on cable television. Her rise to prominence coincided with a shift in American politics, and as the 2016 election cycle unfolded, Ainsley found herself at the forefront of political discourse. President Donald Trump took a liking to Fox and Friends and frequently praised the show and its hosts on social media. This newfound attention helped solidify Ainsley's position as one of the top personalities at Fox News. She interviewed both Trump and Vice President Mike Pence, her questions often direct and unflinching. Ainsley was not afraid to take a stance on controversial issues, such as Trump's handling of former FBI Director James Comey and the U.S. withdrawal from the Paris Climate Agreement. Her straightforward approach to interviewing political figures only furthered her standing as a respected journalist in the political arena. Ainsley Earhardt. From TV star to author and influencer, Ainsley's influence extended beyond the television screen. She became a published author, using her platform to share personal stories and impart life lessons. Her first book, Take Heart, My Child, A Mother's Dream, was a heartfelt tribute to her daughter Hayden. This was followed by I'm So Glad You Were Born, another children's book that celebrated the joy of life and the power of family. In addition to her children's books, Ainsley also penned a memoir titled The Light, which delves into her life story, her struggles, and her faith. Through these books, Ainsley sought to reach a broader audience, using her platform to spread messages of positivity, hope, and love. She became more than just a TV personality. She became a role model and a source of inspiration for many. Ainsley's career continued to soar, but despite her success, she faced significant challenges in her personal life. Heartbreak and family, the struggles behind the spotlight. Despite her public success, Ainsley's personal life has been marked by heartache and disappointment. Her first marriage, to her college sweetheart Kevin McKinney in 2005, appeared to be a fairy tale romance. However, after 4 years of marriage, the couple quietly divorced in 2009. The reasons behind the split remained private, but rumors of infidelity and growing tensions lingered. Ainsley chose to focus on moving forward rather than dwelling on the past. But the pain of her first marriage's end left a lasting impact. In 2012, Ainsley remarried Will Proctor, a former professional football player. The two appeared to have found happiness together, and in 2015, they welcomed their daughter, Hayden. For a time, it seemed like Ainsley had finally found the balance between her demanding career and her desire for a happy family life. But once again, heartbreak struck. Rumors of Will's infidelity surfaced, and despite his public denials, the damage to their marriage was irreparable. The couple announced their separation in 2019, and Ainsley expressed her pain in an emotional interview with the Daily Mail, explaining that the decision was made after much prayer and reflection. The demands of Ainsley's career, which often required her to wake up at 3 a.m. and work long hours, undoubtedly took a toll on her personal life. Her grueling schedule, coupled with the pressures of raising a young daughter, left little room for the family life she had always dreamed of. Despite the challenges, Ainsley remained focused on her daughter and her work, never losing sight of her professional goals. A new beginning, love, and hope for the future. In June 2020, Ainsley found love again, this time with her Fox News colleague Sean Hannity. The relationship, which had been kept quiet at first, quickly became the subject of media speculation. The two had been working closely together for years, and their chemistry was undeniable. Though their relationship attracted attention due to their past marriages and significant age difference, Ainsley and Sean's bond grew stronger with time. In 2019, they made their first public appearance as a couple at the wedding of their friends, Pete Heth and Jennifer Roschke. The couple's relationship, though occasionally scrutinized by the media, has remained steady, with both Ainsley and Sean showing that love can flourish even in the most challenging of circumstances. Throughout her journey, Ainsley has faced the harsh realities of heartbreak, loss, and the pressures of fame. Yet, her unwavering resilience, her commitment to her career, and her devotion to her daughter have allowed her to overcome these obstacles. As Ainsley continues to navigate her personal and professional life, she remains a beacon of strength, reminding us all that even in the face of adversity, there is always hope for a brighter tomorrow. The journey to motherhood. Ainsley Earhardt's struggles and triumphs. Ainsley Earhardt's journey to becoming a mother was not an easy one. It was a path filled with emotional highs and painful lows, with the promise of joy always tempered by the specter of disappointment. The dreams of having children had always been with her, but for years those dreams seemed elusive, overshadowed by the demands of her career and the struggles she faced along the way. Her career as a prominent anchor on Fox and Friends had given her a sense of stability and success, and for the first time, Ainsley felt that the timing might finally be right to start a family. However, even though she had planned carefully and hoped that the stars would align, the journey toward motherhood turned out to be much more complicated than she could have imagined. Planning for a family. When Ainsley's career at Fox and Friends offered her a more predictable schedule, she believed it was the perfect time to start a family. Her work schedule, though still demanding, was more stable than it had ever been, and she thought that planning her pregnancy around it would make things easier. In early 2015, she carefully charted out a timeline, hoping to conceive in February or March of that year, when her work schedule would be lighter. The plan seemed simple enough, and she felt confident that, at last, she would soon be a mother. But life, as it often does, had other plans. The emotional roller coaster of trying to conceive. The months that followed were filled with ups and downs. Each month of waiting, hoping, and praying brought a new wave of frustration. Ainsley, who had worked so hard to build her career and make her dreams a reality, was now left feeling helpless as she watched friends and colleagues easily start families. Whether at a family gathering, at the park, or just overhearing parents talk about their children, the reminders of her own struggle were constant. For Ainsley, each child's laugh or each happy family sight was a reminder of what she longed for but couldn't seem to attain. The pain of those moments was deep, a reminder of the biological clock that was ticking and the future she dreamed of, but couldn't quite grasp. And yet, she kept hoping. Even in the face of setbacks, she clung to the belief that her time would come. A moment of joy. Ainsley's pregnancy. After months of emotional roller coasters, Ainsley and her husband received the news they had long been praying for. They were expecting a baby. The joy was overwhelming. For the first time in a long while, Ainsley allowed herself to believe that the dream of motherhood was within reach. But even as the pregnancy began, the reality of it all was far from simple. Ainsley knew she wanted to share the news with her husband in a special way. She bought a small silver baby spoon, a symbolic gesture to represent their growing family. Standing outside their church, she handed it to him, asking him to open it. At first, he was confused, unsure of what to make of the gift, but as the meaning sank in, his expression changed to one of surprise and joy, his eyes welling up with tears. Ainsley, equally emotional, knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. The following weeks were filled with excitement as the couple eagerly awaited their first ultrasound. The anticipation was palpable. When the day came, they both held their breath, nervous but hopeful. And then they saw it. The flicker of a tiny heartbeat on the ultrasound screen. That moment, captured forever in their hearts, made the pregnancy feel real, and it brought an immense sense of joy to both of them. Ainsley's husband even recorded the heartbeat on his phone, wanting to share that sound with their families and loved ones. A shocking diagnosis and heartbreaking loss. The happiness that Ainsley and her husband felt during those early weeks was short-lived. During a follow-up appointment, the doctor informed them that their baby was measuring small. Though the doctor reassured them that this could simply mean that the due date was off, the couple's optimism began to waver. They held on to the hope that everything would be okay, continuing with their visits and praying for the best. However, the situation took a tragic turn when, at a subsequent appointment, the doctor delivered the worst news any parent could hear. There was no longer a heartbeat. The future that Ainsley and her husband had imagined for themselves seemed to slip away in an instant. The dream of parenthood, which had finally felt attainable, was now shattered, and Ainsley was left to grapple with the loss of the child she had desperately hoped for. The emotional toll of the miscarriage was immense, and Ainsley had to lean on her faith and inner strength to cope. She held on to the belief that her child was in a better place, and that someday they would be reunited. But in the aftermath of the loss, the pain was overwhelming. The decision to undergo surgery to end the pregnancy was not one she had ever imagined, and the process of saying goodbye was excruciating. Every step of the way, Ainsley found herself questioning why this had to happen and how she could move forward. Coping with grief. Ainsley's path to healing. In the weeks following the loss, Ainsley's grief was compounded by more bad news. During the process of recovery, her doctor revealed that her baby had an extra chromosome, an issue that could have contributed to the miscarriage. But even as she learned more about the medical reasons behind the loss, Ainsley was forced to confront her own emotional pain. She felt as if her world had crumbled around her, and the weight of the sadness was almost too much to bear. As if things couldn't get worse, Ainsley faced yet another challenge. Just as she was beginning to heal, Her doctor informed her that she needed a second surgery to address complications related to the miscarriage. The timing could not have been worse. This news came the morning of a holiday flight back home, when Ainsley had hoped to take a break from everything. The thought of another procedure at such a difficult time was overwhelming, but Ainsley chose to face it head-on, determined to stay strong in the face of adversity. A miracle. Pregnancy and the joy of motherhood. After months of heartache and disappointment, Ainsley's life took an unexpected turn in March when she discovered that she was pregnant again. The joy she felt was a miracle, a second chance at the motherhood she had dreamed of for so long. This time, Ainsley kept the news close to her chest, unwilling to share it with the world until she was absolutely sure. After everything she had been through, she didn't want to risk another heartbreak. On Mother's Day, after months of silence, Ainsley revealed the pregnancy to her parents, and soon after, she shared the joyous news with her viewers on Fox and Friends. The outpouring of support from her fans and friends was overwhelming, and Ainsley felt the weight of their love and excitement as they joined in her joy. When her daughter was born in November, Ainsley's happiness knew no bounds. She had finally become a mother. The long, difficult road had led her to this moment, and as she held her newborn daughter, she was overcome with emotion. It was a victory, not just for her and her husband, but for everyone who had rooted for her throughout her struggles. This child was a testament to Ainsley's perseverance, faith, and resilience. Ainsley's strength. Amidst heartbreak. Unfortunately, Ainsley's happiness was short-lived. Just as her career seemed to be reaching new heights, her marriage began to fall apart. The relationship that had once seemed like the perfect foundation for her new family was now crumbling, leaving Ainsley devastated. The end of her marriage was a heartbreak she hadn't anticipated, and as she tried to navigate this new chapter of her life, she found herself once again piecing together a future that was far from what she had envisioned. But as painful as the divorce was, it was not the worst trial Ainsley would face. In the years that followed, she would endure the most profound loss of all, the death of her beloved mother. The loss of Ainsley's mother. Ainsley's mother, Dale, had been a constant source of strength and support throughout Ainsley's life. Her warmth, kindness, and unwavering faith had shaped Ainsley into the person she was. When Dale suffered a stroke 5 years prior, Ainsley's world had been turned upside down, but her mother had continued to fight, showing resilience even in the face of such debilitating health challenges. Sadly, in 2017, Ainsley received the heartbreaking news that her mother's condition had worsened and that she didn't have much time left. When Dale passed away at the age of 72, Ainsley was left with a profound sense of loss. The hole left by her mother's death could never be filled. Yet Ainsley found solace in the knowledge that her mother had instilled in her the strength to carry on. Dale had taught her what it meant to truly live with faith, compassion, and resilience. In a tribute to her mother on Fox and Friends, Ainsley shared some of her fondest memories of Dale, reflecting on their time together in New York City and how her mother's spirit had shaped her. Even as she mourned, Ainsley felt her mother's love guiding her forward. She knew that her mom would want her to keep going, to live her life with the same strength and grace that she had always shown. Honoring her mother's legacy. In the months following her mother's death, Ainsley continued to honor her mother's memory through her work and her personal life. Despite the immense pain of her loss, Ainsley carried on, finding strength in the lessons her mother had taught her. She also began to use her platform to share her personal story, inspiring others with her resilience in the face of grief. Her story is a testament to the power of love, faith, and the strength of the human spirit. Through all the heartache, Ainsley Earhardt's ability to continue moving forward is a powerful reminder of the importance of hope and perseverance. Her mother's legacy lives on in her, and Ainsley's story is one of survival, strength, and the will to keep going even in the face of unimaginable loss.